Okay, imagine a journey so incredibly vivid, you can almost literally feel the weight of the pages turning right under your fingertips. Today, we're not just looking at dry dates or architecture. We're stepping directly inside the explainer of Rome in eternal light. We're going to trace the lines of this deeply personal travelogue, an experience that just pulls you in and honestly demands to be felt.
But let's actually kick things off with a paradox that always blows my mind. What if I told you that the smallest country in the entire world is locked entirely inside a single city? Yeah, we'll uncover that little secret a bit later, but it really sets the perfect tone here. Rome is just this massive collection of ancient mysteries waiting to be unfolded.
You know, arriving in Rome isn't exactly always a fairy tale. Picture this, it's 10 p.m. You're half blinded by passing bus headlights, you're totally exhausted, and of course, your map is glitching out. Our traveler actually had to make this €8 taxi gamble, which if you've ever backpacked, you know is a painful sacrifice for the wallet. But that unexpected detour gifted them this breathtaking nighttime glimpse of the Colosseum. It's a gritty, exhausting start, but it proves a crucial point. Rome demands your energy. It leaves you vulnerable before you can even begin turning her pages.
So you wake up the next morning ready to conquer history, right? Well, you're immediately met with a staggering reality. The Colosseum isn't just busy, it is literally surrounded by this giant human necklace of modern tourists. And stepping inside, the sheer scale of 80,000 ancient seats is just overwhelming. You feel incredibly small in this vast, loud world. Back in ancient times, once you walked in, you stayed for days. Food, drinks, entertainment, all included. It was basically the ultimate all-inclusive spectacle of the ancient world. Now, Hollywood loves to give us these glorified, action-packed heroes. But the historical reality? It's a much heavier, much darker chapter. Our traveler uncovered pretty heartbreaking truths standing there. Exotic animals were transported in just brutal conditions, and entire species, like the elusive white elephant, are believed to have gone completely extinct just for these games. And the gladiators themselves? They were tragic symbols of extreme discipline and courage. It's a really profound realization when you stand on that center platform and just absorb the true heavy weight of the ink on this historical page.
Stepping right out of the Colosseum and into the Roman ruins, the whole atmosphere shifts. You've got this blistering, merciless sun beating down on these enormous, sky-reaching columns that honestly make you wonder if ancient humans were giants. The history is heavy here, and man, it physically drains you. In fact, our traveler actually had to abandon their ruins tour early. And you know, it's this beautifully real moment of vulnerability. It's that realization that you are just a silent passenger in a narrative way too large to digest all at once. Choosing to walk away is actually a huge moment of personal growth, learning to step back instead of just forcing the experience.
So, seeking some much-needed refuge from that blazing sun, they found the Pantheon. And this monument brilliantly captures the sheer timelessness of Rome. Up top, its inscription reads, "Marcus Agrippa, son of Lucius, consul for the third time, built this." Reading those bold Latin letters aloud, it feels exactly like tracing your fingers over the permanent signature of a 2,000-year-old manuscript. Originally, this was a massive temple, built to honor all the old Roman gods under one single roof. But then you step inside, and you're immediately greeted by the oculus. It is the largest unreinforced concrete dome ever built, featuring this perfectly round opening at the very top that drops a spotlight straight from the heavens. And think about this for a second. The exact same society that authored the brutal spectacles of the Colosseum also engineered this absolute masterpiece of gentle, gravity-defying symmetry. For our traveler, this was the exact moment they finally caught their breath. It's this breathtaking emotional balm in the middle of Rome's chaotic architectural story. Because look, Rome exhausts you, but she absolutely restores you too. Let's turn the page to a fresh morning. Imagine a cheerful buongiorno from a local baker, the intoxicating smell of warm bread made with fresh local ingredients. Our traveler ordered a coffee with milk and literally got a tall glass of milk on the side. The rich sensory details of this warm local interaction just begin to heal them, beautifully resetting the entire emotional arc of the journey. All right, feeling restored, it's finally time to answer our opening question. Less than 1 square kilometer. That is the impossible, mind-bending size of Vatican City. It's the least populated country on Earth, and yet it holds this immeasurable spiritual weight. I mean, it's so small that when you climb up to the top of St. Peter's Basilica, you can literally read the entire landscape of the nation from a single viewpoint. How wild is that? So, how did this tiny little country even come to be?
Well, history gives us the Pope King. See, long ago, the Pope was both a religious and a political ruler. To avoid clashes with the King of Italy, an agreement was signed back during Mussolini's era, making Vatican City an entirely independent state. And the transition right across this border? It's completely seamless, marked naturally by the Swiss guards standing firm and proud in these bright blue and orange-striped medieval uniforms. Entering St. Peter's Basilica it's an overwhelming sensory experience. The silence in there is heavy, almost like a warm blanket. And the stunning art covering the walls and ceilings, they aren't paintings, they're mosaics, intricately woven from literally millions of tiny colored marble pieces. Watching local families gently guide their children to pray in there felt beautifully familiar to our traveler. It intimately echoed the quiet, focused devotion of an Indian temple back home. Leaving those holy walls behind, the journey naturally flows back to, well, hungry stomachs. Enter Piazza Navona. It's this lively, bustling square filled with moving sculptures and the most incredible aroma of food. This is where they experienced their first true square pizza. Think thin, soft crust, perfectly smoky around the edges, paired with local wine and a fresh, crisp salad. It's simple, it's rustic, and it feels like it's built on pure love. This kind of authentic joy, that's the exact kind of memory you want to fold a corner down on so you can easily return to it again and again. And what better way to work off that pizza than gliding through twisting ancient streets on a two-wheeled scooter? Our traveler quickly discovered that hiring a scooter isn't just a fun tourist thing, it is a feeling of ultimate freedom. Think about it. From being so heavily weighed down by history and the sun-baked ruins, they are now just effortlessly gliding over the cobblestones. It's dynamic, it's pure wind-in-your-hair liberation, and it perfectly accelerates our protagonist's emotional growth right into the romantic twilight hours. As the sun starts to dip, we arrive at this glowing masterpiece of water and marble, the Trevi Fountain. Now, every fountain in Rome has this startlingly clear blue water, but Trevi is just pure magic. Right above it, the golden inscription reads that Benedict XIV perfected it. Just stand there for a second in your mind. Feel the cold spray hit your face. Breathe in the smell of fresh pasta wafting over from the nearby restaurants. It's this unforgettable, sensory-rich scene that practically begs you to just slow down. And of course, you absolutely have to partake in the tradition. €1 coin, a silent wish tossed backward right over the shoulder. Standing there in the glowing night magic of the crowd, it suddenly feels a lot less like a trip and way more like stepping straight into the most beautiful passage of a physical story. It's about locking that memory safely behind a beautifully bound cover. Just a short walk away brings us to the Spanish Steps. By night, Rome completely transforms into this giant, vibrant outdoor dining room. The air is thick with the smell of cheese, garlic, and fresh basil. And at the steps, it's basically a scene of living poetry. You've got soft street lamps, sweet-smelling flowers, a guitar playing nearby, couples just dancing at the base. The traveler has completely surrendered to Rome's pace by now, pausing to just become part of the living story in a state of quiet, happy awe. Slipping away from the main crowds into a quiet side lane, they stumbled upon this tiny restaurant with an old wooden oven. They savored this snapping, wood-fired vegetarian pizza. But the real surprise? The very first taste of pink strawberry cheesecake. That melting, perfectly sweet bite was so profound, representing this true culinary triumph to cap off the night. It literally dropped whatever heavy weight of the ancient arches was left right off their shoulders, leaving nothing but pure relief and joy. So from that gritty, exhausting arrival to the sweet, melting finish of a strawberry cheesecake, Rome delivers this complete emotional arc of art, culture, and profound personal growth. But honestly, when you find a story that transports you like this explainer has today, one that lets you actually feel the heat of the ruins and the cold mist of the fountains, don't you want to hold on to it? To feel the physical weight of those memories right in your hands, ready to be opened up whenever you need an escape? So I'll leave you with this. What story are you going to unfold next?